Senate Republicans are very worried that former President Donald Trump is blowing their chances of winning back the majority. Now, so far, polling shows Harris narrowing Donald Trump's lead in some Republican-leaning Senate battlegrounds like Ohio and Florida, and she's pulled ahead in other states where Republicans have a chance at picking up seats like Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. That has a lot of Republicans very, very concerned. In fact, Lindsey Graham decided he was going to take the opportunity to tell Trump that he needs to tone it down, okay, and to try to actually deliver a message on policy. He says, quote, Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election. Interesting. So now here's the thing. Republicans only need to gain 2 seats to take the majority. Even if they lose the presidency, they could still, do a lot in the Senate, at least to stymie the Democrats, right? So now, 1 seat in West Virginia, very likely to be picked up by Republicans. In Montana, Senator John Tester is also facing a pretty tough re-election bid. And in Ohio, Sherrod Brown is also facing his own tough re-election, right? So now, those are opportunities for Republicans to pick up those seats. Republicans, even with those opportunities, are like, we could end up losing. Oh no. So now, if Trump depresses Republican turnout, and while Harris energizes young and minority voters, that could very well keep the Senate in Democratic hands. Even if it's by a 1-seat majority, you could still, get some things done with a 1-seat majority. Perhaps. Now, that said, Ron Bogin, a GOP strategist and former Senate Republican leadership aide, said that Republicans are basically running into rougher terrain because the Democrats have a much more viable candidate at the presidential level. He says that Republicans could go on the offense when it comes to policy, but Trump has to actually be a little bit disciplined and focus on that. Quote, Trump is trying to get on message in the last couple of press conferences. He started to talk about her policies, but he just can't help getting the crowd responses by going after her personally. He can't get away from it. It may get a great reaction from the crowd, but it's doing nothing for independent voters that are looking for the contrast. They know who Donald Trump is. They're trying to figure out who Kamala Harris is. Now, that's like a nice way of saying to Trump, for the love of God, please stop talking about Harris and how she's not black enough. Okay? No. Keep going. You're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing, Donald. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Now, a Senate Republican aide also told The Hill, quote, you can start to feel trepidation, like with Arizona. You get a sense in talking to folks that it's not going as well as we hoped. In Nevada, it's not going as well as we hoped. Another quote here says, he's going to run the way he's always run his campaign. And it's not a great feeling.
Oh, no!
Republicans, they're tearing their hair out. Oh, my God. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? There's another quote here that I love. It's from former Senator Judd Gregg, who said this. There's no question Trump is going through self-immolation. He's killing himself. All swing states are won by independent votes, and he's alienated the independent vote almost every day with some foolish statement that marginalizes him and, as a result, the party. And the majority of independents are educated women, and they're just turned off by the guy and what he says. They might also be turned off by people like J.D. Vance, who are, going after childless cat ladies. Okay? Now, that said, Republican lawmakers are saying, look, guys, Kamala Harris is beatable if we just talk about her policies. Okay, which policies? Turns out policies that she doesn't even support, like Medicare for all and the Green New Deal. Now, here's the thing. Yes, in 2020, did she give lip service to that, especially Medicare for all? Absolutely, she did, yes. She didn't really support it, though, because that's one of my criticisms of her, okay? One of my criticisms of her is like, no, she never supported Medicare for all. She was doing it to get the Bernie contingent on her side. And so that was one of the things that she just wasn't genuine about. It wasn't one of her genuine beliefs. And again, I do remember criticizing her for it. Now, that said, Republicans want to tie her to that and then say, aha, that Kamala the communist, which is not even communism, but anyway. Now, unfortunately, right now, the majority opinion among independents, if we're just talking independent voters, right, is not on the side of a government-run healthcare system. Now, that said, 72% of Democrats want it, according to Gallup polling from last year. Independent voters are more split. You have 46% that are in favor of a government-run healthcare system, 50% that want to keep it at a private insurance. And so, now, that said, 59% of independents do want the government to ensure that everybody does have healthcare, okay? But mainly they want to see it through a private system. And so, again, that's just independent voters. Republican voters are like, private system, private system, private system. And Democratic voters are like, no, government healthcare, system, like our Medicare system, but expanded to everybody. That's the way to go. And I agree with that. And so if you're talking about independent voters, though, yes, they are using the words communism and all that stuff to try to scare them into voting for Republicans. I don't think it's a big weakness, but that is why you see Republicans calling her Kamala communist and all that, weird stuff that not only are you seeing now, but you're going to see more of.
Pink-haired communist.
Okay. That said, they're freaking out because of the polls. All right. In fact, the nonpartisan Cook Political Report said that some Democratic candidates have widened their lead in several swing states. In Nevada, where Senator Jackie Rosen is leading her Republican challenger, Sam Brown, by 19 points. Damn, that's a blowout. Cook shifted the Nevada Senate race from toss-up to lean Democrat. In Pennsylvania, incumbent Senator Bob Casey increased his lead over Republican candidate David McCormick from 8 to 13 points. And in Arizona, Democratic Representative Ruben Gallego has increased his lead over Republican Carrie Lake from 5 to 9 points. Ooh. And in Michigan, Representative Elisa Slotkin, the Democratic nominee for Senate, has expanded her lead over former Representative Mike Rogers. Now, you also have internal Republican polling that shows Harris gaining ground on Trump in Ohio, which could have a spillover race in the Sherrod Brown contest. And you also have Florida that could be in play. Trump's margin of victory in Florida may have a bearing in Democrats' chances of taking out Senator Rick Scott, who is very, very unpopular in Florida, and even Senator Ted Cruz in Texas. Could you imagine taking down Rick Scott and Ted Cruz on the same day? Oh, whisper of a dream. Now, is that likely to happen? I don't think so. I mean, at the end of the day, right? But that said, it's within the realm of possibility enough that Republicans are freaking out, and for good reason. And now that's why we're seeing this Republicans in a lot of these states launching legal challenges against elections. Georgia, for example, right? If they lose. And not only that, but you add in the voter suppression, the gerrymandering that is going on in a lot of these states, the redrawn maps that favor, of course, incumbents are generally Republicans. But even with all of those things going on, they're sweating. They're sweating. And it does show you that the election and the vibes have absolutely shifted against Trump and the GOP in this cycle. That said, vibes and polling, they don't win elections. No, what wins elections is still getting out there and voting. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.